I wish I was successful. Whoa, what is that? Okay, do your thing. Ah, yes. I'm going to be successful now. Welcome in Gang. My name is Mibra Zagoya, and today I want to start with a little secret, and that is that if you mash the like button, then you're going to promote this channel and will be a hero. Anyway, let's go into the video. Well, I know that we all want to hack our brain to actually become much more successful, but the real question and the real hard part comes on how do we do it? Is there such a thing as actually hacking your brain for success? And if so, is it attainable? Is it that easy to just change something in your mind and boom, you're successful? Well, you see, success is not attracted, it is actually earned. But the way it is earned is a weird way. Well, the way that you actually create success in life is through increasing the chances of success happening in whatever that you're doing. But there are mindsets that are going to make this process a whole lot easier. So what are they? Oftentimes, it's not what everyone already knows. A person that has a lot of weight knows that they should probably go to the gym. A person that wants to be successful knows that they should be doing certain things, that they should not be spending their time on certain tasks. You see, these mindsets are going to be very simple, but they're not always easy to implement in your life. So the first thing that we have to take a look at is thinking critically versus categorically. You see, we love put things into category. And it kind of makes sense, right? Why we actually love to put things in a category. I mean, if you didn't, then it would be really hard to interact with the world. Now, you have to understand that although there are benefits with categorically thinking of things around you, it can be very limiting, especially when you need to solve certain problems in your life. Well, the answer here is to start to think more critically and more interconnectively with the things around us. Well, you see, we tend to categorize things on the surface level. When we see a car, we see people, we see books, we already know what is on the surface. However, if you want to be able to connect the pieces together and think more critically about things on ways to be more creative, then a good way for you to do that is actually to take things down a notch, dig in deeper. And what I mean by this is that when you look at a Toyota Camry per se, well, okay, it's a sedan, it's a car, it's a form of transportation. Ah, yes, it's a form of transportation. And that is what we really want to take into consideration, because now you're gonna be able to connect the different pieces to different parts in your daily life in order to solve new problems, in order to make new ideas, new creative innovations that will make you better. Now, I'm not saying this is easy, but necessarily it can be very helpful. For example, but let's say that you find someone that is just very angry all the time, or at least that is what it seems to be like. However, if you try to dig in deeper and see what really makes this person so irritable, you can start to see that the person is actually a personality type A, that gets easily stressed and not necessarily is angry, but rather they have a lot of energy that they just release and it might appear as anger. Now you don't really think of him as an angry person, but rather just a person that lacks communicating their facial expressions and tone with what they're trying to convey. So yeah, like I said, it's not easy to apply, but in terms of money, let's say that someone is broke. Well, why, right? Why are they broke, or why can't they be successful? Well, you can say that they were born into a poor family and that they didn't go to school. But then you realize that there are some people who were born in poverty and became millionaires, and also people that didn't go to school and became millionaires. So what is up with that? What made them different?
I don't know.
Here's where you should really start to think at a deeper level. So what did they do to get out of poverty? What are some of the things that they avoided in order to not stay in poverty anymore? Which way will be your best chance at life? You have to be consistently asking these questions in order to get to the real answer, because for the most part, people just go at a surface level and they don't go deeper than they really should. So basically, stop thinking categorically, or in other words, stop thinking in absolute. want. You have to really think critically in order for you to take back that control. And that goes into the next thing, and that is that you have to increase your internal locus of control. What many people tend to do is fall victims to victimhood. And that is where they believe that they are the victim of anything that happens to them, where they see that their success, their goals are only determined by things that they cannot control. However, it does not have to be this way. Really, you can actually take back control. And you know what control gives? Well, it is power, and that is what many people want ultimately, right? They want power in their lives to change their life. They want that control. However, with great power comes great responsibility. Well, Spider-Man had it right. There is responsibility with power, like it or not, but you see, the opposite is true. When you are made responsible, you also get access to the power over it. This is the great duality of actual power, full power. You see, many people have this weird fantasy that having power means that you're able to call the shots without any consequences, without any work. How at the top it's very easy. How being the leader is what everyone really wants, to, be the one at the centerpiece and be the main character. However, not everyone is prepared for this. Because of those who have true power, they tend to have a lot of responsibility. Take, for example, parents. They have a lot of power over their children. And why is that? Well, because they're made responsible for them. Is it because it's full tyranny? Although some may disagree, it's really because of the responsibility it comes of having a child. The parent has to take care of the child, feed it, support it, help it. A lot of things that tend to be very tiring. And this is true for leaders. When you are placed in a leadership position, you have to ensure that the group is doing the right type of work. You have to ensure that they're not doing the wrong things. You have to determine what habits are needed in order to succeed. You have to determine the things to avoid so that you don't fail. You have to be aware of threats. It's just a bunch of responsibilities. For this reason, many people are very incapable of actually becoming true leaders, because it's really hard to take responsibility over your lives, for you to actually become, in some weird way, your parent. Take responsibility over the statuses in your life, your health, your wealth, your relationships, your looks. It can even be habits, maybe taking responsibility of the bad things that you do. For example, let's say that a person is born prone to having a certain disease. The person might think that this is very unfair, and it could be. However, what can you do about it? It's unfair, we get that. But are you going to do something about it? Are you going to eat better? Are you going to exercise? Because for the most part, if they are born prone to something, it also reasons out that they're able to avoid it completely by changing their lifestyle. So please stop taking away your responsibility over your actions. Take control of you. Be responsible for you. Stop saying that you will not succeed because you're just not fit for it, or that you're too poor, or maybe that you won't have a six-pack because you have a really bad metabolism. It does not matter what you can't control. What it really matters is what you can control and what you're doing about that. Now, a disclaimer. I'm not saying that a person born into poverty is going to be able to make it to a millionaire. No, I'm not saying that. Or that the person with the slow metabolism will ever reach a six-pack. No, you see, rather it is about making better decisions. That person in poverty might not be able to make it to a millionaire, but they can get close. If not, they can dramatically improve their circumstances compared to their old life. Or with the person with the slow metabolism, they can get really close to that six-pack. You won't know what's possible unless you act on it. Okay, now that you're thinking critically and you're taking responsibility, you have to ask yourself a hard question, but yet simple. What is your purpose? Yeah, I know it's not easy to find what is your why, your reasoning for existence. For the most part, people have multiple purposes, and they constantly tend to change over time. But taking the time to make a strong purpose that is able to be applicable to the many things in your life will be quite rewarding. Now, I can't tell you exactly what your purpose is, but I can tell you certain pointers. You see, your purpose should never be about reaching a certain destination. Rather, it should concentrate on the type of journey that you're choosing to live. What type of person are you going to be? What does that type of person do? One example is maybe you take this motto of, you know what, I want to improve my life every single day. And that goes into self-improvement of health, wealth, fitness, charisma, anything that matters. And it can be very easily applicable. You have to choose one type of identity that's going to benefit you in the long run. So, going to the type of thinking of the type of person that you are. Maybe you're the person that does the work. You are a person that likes to talk to people. Or a better way to do this is ask the question, what would my 10 times better me do in this situation? What would I do if I were 10 times better? What would I do if I were 10 times more charismatic? You see, what all these have in common is action packed with the identity. Please stray away from identities that are absolute. For example, like, I am smart, I am awesome, I am a superior being, I am successful. There is no action paired up with the identity. You have to really pay attention to the action. Go back into the action and your identity. What does this type of person do? What would I do if I were 10 times better? Keep that in mind. Now, I know what I just said might seem very intimidating, but if you want to have a better understanding of an action plan for success, I recommend you watch this video on how to achieve your most ambitious goal by Stefan Denier. Also, in the comments, if you have an identity that is just awesome, comment down below so that everyone can see. Anyway, you have a good one.